All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to From the Bunker. This is your host Eli today, also known as Boot Scoot Actual. I got our buddy Ralph on today. Ralph started a company called Putasos, and he's a Marine Corps veteran. He's doing great things, and we thought it would be great for everyone else to hear his story and what he is doing. So, Ralph, tell us why you joined the Marine Corps.
Well, I joined the Marine Corps. Well, it's good to be on, bro. Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it. Um,
Yeah.
the whole deal with the Marine Corps, man. At 19, how much more spontaneous can you be? Um, man. So right after Twin Towers happened, at the same time that Twin Towers happened, I was screwing up and trying to go to college and try to make something of myself, and I didn't have the motivation or nothing. I didn't have no drive. So one day I must have been taking a midterm. That's what I tell people. It was the midterm, and I was freaking out. I was like, you
Mm-hmm.
know what? That's it. I was like, I'm not gonna pass. I'm joining the Marine Corps. And I never in my life wanted to join the Marine Corps because my father was a Vietnam vet,
Mm-hmm.
and he was there during the Tet Offensive. He was with First Recon, shot
Wow.
5 times. I got to see the aftermath of what that looks like a little bit here and there.
Mm-hmm.
And driving to SeaWorld with my mom and my sister, I'd see they have the Marine Corps boot camp right there.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, hell no. So for me to join, bro, spontaneous is how I regretted it every day. Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's a good thing to hear some honesty, you know. I was also in the Marine Corps and everyone's like, hoorah, yeah, yeah, yeah. And like which I mean, the training definitely prepared me for Iraq and everything. And I didn't really realize all the good it did for me until I got out of the Marine
Uh,
Corps. But while I was in, I was like, the
who are you
last
with,
day of
bro?
it, I was with 2-7 in 29 Palms.
Okay, yes, I remember.
Yeah, but
Tucson.
I was like the last day of infantry school, we got kind of hazed pretty good, dude, by the instructors, and I was like,
They
that's
don't
it.
haze, okay? They don't do that.
Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't really like bad hazing, but I was just like, I'm done. Like, I'm just gonna do this and get out. But
Oh, so I had the same reaction, man.
yeah.
It's I'm one of those guys. I've always been a peacemaker. So
Hmm.
that's what my mom told me. Like, hey, can't we just get along, guys? Like, we don't need a yell. Let's let's all just be kumbaya. Yeah, but I was like, what the hell did I get myself into? And it was funny story, bro. So, well, I'll tell it after. You asked the questions, brother. I'm right here, man. I want to be as transparent as possible.
No, let's go with the funny story now.
All right. Yes. So, my my mom practically raised me my entire life, and she had to play both roles for most of the time.
Hmm.
And I mean, I got my ass beat in boot camp and all that stuff. And top it off, my dad wrote a letter to the drill instructors. He says, "Let's break him, get him ready for war." Um,
Wow.
yeah, it was pretty bad, but
Yikes.
we get to freaking School of Infantry, man, and I just had the worst feeling in my gut. I mean, I wanted to cry so bad. I did not want to be there. I was like, no, I made a bad decision. I'm
Hmm.
good. Like I want to go home.
Yeah.
And I was so scared, bro. I don't know what it was. I've never shared this, by the way. Um, I was so freaking scared, man. And my my mom is driving me up there with my sis. No, it's just my mom and I. And we get to right there in front of School of Infantry,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm already shitting bricks because we just had to pass the gate. I'm thinking I'm gonna get in trouble or something. Maybe my uniform's all screwed up. I don't know. We get to School of Infantry, and I just start crying. I'm like, Mom, I don't want to do this. She's
Mm-hmm.
like, No, no son of mine is a bitch. Now get your ass out of the car. I'll see you later. Yeah, bro.
Dang,
Yep.
dude, that's real, man.
Single
I
mom,
think,
bro.
yeah, dude, that's real life, man. A lot of people probably don't have the balls to admit uh when they felt certain ways like that in their career. So I
Oh,
think it's
dude.
really cool.
Bro, I since I counsel all these guys, I'm like, oh, you too? Okay. This is nothing
Yeah,
new.
yeah. No, and it's really awesome for people listening to hear this and get that because, like, um, I a lot of people that I knew, like in high school and everything, not my friends so much, but people in high school, like, you joined the Marines? Like, they used to call me Jesus Boy in high school. They're like, you're not gonna make it, dude. You're too nice. And I was like, bro, I can turn that switch on. So I went, but being super naive, like I was like, it's gonna be this righteous thing. I'm gonna put the uniform on and be like honor, courage, commitment, and like the most upstanding citizen, and that's what Marines are like. And then you get to the barracks, dude, and you get to your unit.
This is Sodom and
Right?
Gomorrah.
Yeah, dude. So that was I had to I was very naive going into it, and I joined right out of high school at 18, and uh
Same,
yeah. So
kind of.
you learn about Marine Corps culture and all that, and then I think I got out. I was out for like 6 months, and I ended up in the National Guard. And then I was like, okay, I get it now, and I'm going to do the very best I can. And this time around, like I just did my thing and got out or whatever. And
Yeah. It's the
so
hardest
yeah,
freaking 6 months of your life, yeah?
uh, well yeah, like you mean like boot camp and infantry
No, no,
school
no.
or
When you got out of the Marine Corps.
oh dude, I got out in '08 when the economy was bad. So I moved. I'm from SoCal, stationed in SoCal. Moved to Iowa, where my family's from on both sides. Try it out, and couldn't really find any good work. And I was going through a divorce, and I had a little kid, my son, and so I was like, well, the guard guy, he found my ex-wife, and that's how he found me. And he's a prior Marine, so I was like, he's like, dude, it's chill, trust me. I was like, all right, if you say so. You were in the Marine Corps, so I got in and like I walked into my first drill. So I joined infantry again, but I was in a personal security detail. So there's just a few infantry guys in a headquarters company with like cooks, mechanics, admin, medics, and their guard. And I walked in, bro, and I was like, this is not the military. There's no way. There's no way, dude. But it ended up being cool. And then when I finally got to some infantry units and stuff, it was a lot better. But you had to like turn. They're like, there was like two other Marine vets in my platoon. They're like, come here, dude. They're like, all right. First of all, relax. So that was pretty funny.
Dude,
But
it's crazy how like there's there's war dogs,
yeah,
and war dogs have seen so much that it gives them a level of humility that no one can ever take away from them. But the ones that are very grandiose and say they're the first recon of the second and third infantry, blah blah blah. It's like those are the cooks.
yeah.
Those are the guys that have to compensate for that, and it's like, man, just you serving is enough, bro.
I you probably didn't meet him yet, but One of the guys in the All American Writers with me, Boom, who's our current president, and him and I are a couple of the founders, known him since high school. And he joined the band, the Marine Corps band. Gets to his unit, they're like, "Hey, dude, we're training up to do convoy security going to Iraq." So he gets to Iraq, goes to the same exact place I was right after I left, and he's seen more combat in one deployment than I have in four
Poor
in our
guy.
infantry, bro.
Poor guy.
So then
Dude.
he gets back from he gets back from Iraq, and they're like, "All right, now we need you to march around, play the trumpet in your blues." And he's like, "Bro, just send me back."
That's insane, dude. Like what are they? The psychological aspect of how um, the military does things.
Yeah,
We don't need to baby them, but there's also like that transition is actually very, very vital.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, but
Well, yeah, I'm gonna we're gonna bring on my wife and my business partner Matt's wife soon. So that'll be
okay,
interesting because we both just got back and they could talk about what it's like to be in their shoes dealing with us.
dude, that is the best thing you could do, bro. You know, I
Yeah.
have my veterans group, and I'm like, you guys, man, you act like a bunch of babies. You're a bunch of babies, and your wife's got to take care of you. I was like, you're the leader of men. I was like, do you realize the crap that they have to put up for you?
Yeah.
It's like your up and downs. They didn't
Mm-hmm.
sign up for that, but they're
Yeah.
still there. Most of them.
Yeah. When I got home recently, I was like so short with her, dude. I have like zero patience.
When
I've
did you
gotten
get
a
back?
lot. Late August.
Oh shoot!
Yeah.
This may be a therapy session, bro.
Luckily, this was my fourth one, so like I have experience, and I've like definitely come a long way. But yeah, it's you still get like just random tension or anxiety for no reason. You're like, what the heck, dude? So yeah, so let's get back to you, our guest.
All right.
So you did your 4 years and got out.
Did my 4 years, got out.
Okay, you did Iraq once.
I did Iraq twice. Went
Okay,
went through the invasion, and then
okay.
I went again to Al Anbar province, Ramadi, in
Uh,
2004.
okay. I was yeah, I was in Fallujah 0506 when we were like letting everyone back in after it was all blown to hell.
Jeez Louise.
That was a trip, dude. Um and then we went like south of there. That was like the first half of our 7 months. And then we went south of there down on the river to like Al Maria and Ferris Town is what they called them. And
You
then
guys did
that's
a year. That's right. I forget.
no, it was 7 months. That was when I was in the Marine Corps. And
Oh,
then
okay.
yeah, so I was right behind you there off to your second one. So did you get out as like a corporal, lance corporal, sergeant?
So yeah, I got out as a sergeant, man. But I honestly believe, bro, like our experiences and the decisions we've made,
Mm-hmm.
the military is a freaking small spot, but it's everything in between that has literally made us into who we are.
Mm-hmm.
And we think the real you comes out in combat. Yeah, I believe that's true. But it's through opposition afterwards.
Yeah.
It's through those trials and errors. Like you have to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd love to share like the early time. I don't know if we're gonna go there or what,
Yeah. That's what we're here
but
for.
all right. Um, that part is everything because I think from there, then it's like, oh, okay. So I was raised by my mother, my father till I was about 5 years old. My
Mm-hmm.
dad was a musician, a Vietnam vet, and later on found out, all the drugs and stuff that was going on. I
Mm-hmm.
guess my mom found out, and it's 5 years old. It's just my sister and me, and my sister actually has another dad from, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Anyhow, I'm the youngest, and all I want is dad's attention. He just leaves, like that, leaves me at the doorstep, and that moment created such a perspective of lack of trust and all those other things that come in between.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize it till later on. At 5 years old, that little guy inside me was like, man, what did I do so wrong that my daddy would leave me? I must
Uh-huh.
not be a good person. The interesting part about it, bro, every freaking guy that comes in and we talk, they just want a data boy from their dad. It's crazy.
Dude,
Crazy.
we kind of, I wouldn't say my story's quite as extreme as that, but extremely similar.
Really?
Well, I was making a joke with guys on this last deployment that I guarantee you 75% of the people in our formation are from a broken home.
Oh, dude. It has, I think, higher, bro.
Yeah. It's
It,
like it was like you got the sprinkling of really strong homes that like it's a strong family and they're like, yeah, we're gonna serve. And then a whole bunch of people looking to build themselves up, I feel like. And then for the most part, right? I
yeah.
think that's the highest percentages. There's probably a study out there, but just going off the top of my head, my feelings and from what I've seen in 19 years. So, well, 18 and a half. But yeah.
Jeez. It, nobody, like, I think that's the most difficult part, is there's no blueprint, especially for the broken homes. Uh, so I was raised by mom. We lived in poverty for sure. Mom was on welfare, but I did have like a father figure, which was my grandfather, who was an army vet. He was there during the Korean War.
Hmm.
Means SOB, man. So I didn't really like connect with them. I just observed,
Yeah.
and we lived in Pico Rivera, California, and during that time, I was like still like, where the hell's my dad? I'm confused, right?
Yeah.
Um, it wasn't until about I think like 7, 8 years old. I had to be 7 or 8, and my dad's coming around again. And bro, like he he called me out of the blue, and he's like, "Hey son, we're going to a Raider game." And all my military guys know this story, so they always make fun of me about this because it's painful.
Uh,
But my dad calls, "Hey son, we're going to a Raider game," and dude, I'm just ecstatic, dude. I'm ecstatic. I freaking get all my gear. I'm like, when you coming? He's like, I'm gonna be there Saturday morning. I'm gonna pick you up. We're gonna go. And this is the first time anything like that has ever happened.
hmm.
So I get all my gear, and I'm waiting outside on the stairs of our small apartment. Just this little chunky kid, man, just excited, dude. And I'm waiting. 8 o'clock comes. I was like, okay, he missed his 15-minute marker. I'm like, okay. So
Yeah.
8:30, 9, 9, 10, 10:30. So now I'm getting super like worried. Not that he just forgot that something happened to him, because he wouldn't forget. Like, this is too big of a deal.
Yeah.
And my mom ends up freaking coming outside crying. She's like, just come inside, son. I'm like, no, he's coming. I waited, dude. I was a stickler. Like, I'm not moving my post till this man comes. By sundown, bro, it's time to go inside. And I
Wow.
didn't speak to him for over a week and a half. And I called, dude, like, hey, what's nothing, no message, nothing. And what happened was, I finally get a call from him like 2 weeks later. He's like, hey, son, how are you? Like, hey, dad, what happened? He said, oh, I ended up taking my girlfriend Margie, but I got you a souvenir though. I got you a souvenir. So the little wounded guy that just wants the attention of his dad, that happens. And then it happens again and again. Like, he was a guitar player. I looked up to him. I wanted him to teach me. He
Yeah.
bought me this badass freaking electric guitar. I won't go on to this much longer, but there's a reason.
Yeah.
I get this badass electric guitar and an amplifier, and I'm stoked, man. And during this time, like, my dad has not even a pot to piss in. He has a little studio, and I get the guitar, and I'm so thankful. Freaking, the dad is the best thing ever. He's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna teach you how to play, son." Blah blah blah. All right, all right. I'm like, it was Sunday. Hey, you got to go back home. Hey, he's like, hey, leave it here. I'm like, but I want to practice. He's like, just leave it here. I want you to leave it here. I was like, okay. 2 weeks later, so we were on a good one. Like, I'm seeing him every 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
and I go back and I run straight in the house, dude. And I'm like, where is the guitar? And he's like, I had to pawn it, son. I needed the money.
Oh man.
Yeah, dude.
Wow.
I, I put all that shit aside, like, growing up, I'm like, I can't worry about that. And literally, that's how, I'm going to focus on other things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be so nice to people because I never want them to feel the brokenness that I felt.
Yeah.
And so all that stuff, dude, that was the beginning. Um, my mom raised me pretty much. She met my stepdad, the alcoholic, screaming, yelling, the whole craziness, man.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Cops are being called at our house. Like,
Dang.
didn't didn't know what the hell was going on, but it was just my sister and I, man.
Wow.
Yeah. So then we joined the Marine Corps.
So you got sergeant in 4 years, which is and you're an infantryman, right?
Yeah.
That's
So,
pretty that's I mean, not everyone does that.
oh, bro. Um, I was the guy that was petrified of getting in trouble.
Oh yeah, me too.
Oh, dude. I still am, man. Um,
They didn't even know who I was in boot camp, bro. I
I,
like I was a ghost. This dude, my dad, he was a Marine. He goes,
no shit. He's like,
yeah, he goes, whatever you do, don't volunteer for anything and do exactly what you're told. I was like, okay. So I just did that. I was never a squad leader. Like I got dropped a platoon, so that helped me
oh
be more.
no.
Yeah, I got pneumonia. Do you go
I
to medical platoon? You'll never want to die more in your life.
No one knew, bro, but I had like asthma as a little kid, right? And I stopped wheezing probably when I was like 11, 12. So I never said anything. There's no record, I guess.
hmm
I did have albuterol inhalers, that whole spiel. Well, during boot camp, I got sick, right? And it felt like I was trying to breathe through a straw. And like my lungs with like felt like concrete was on them, and I'm having
Yeah.
to do these runs like this, and I'm like, I would rather die because
Yeah.
I have nothing to go back to, nothing.
Yeah.
If I can't make it through this, then there's no reason. Like, I literally, this was my last like deal, and they said, the fuck's wrong with you? I guess my face started turning pale. And they put me up against the wall and they said, oh, you have bronchitis. They're like, well, the doctors are talking. They hear the fluid in my lungs. And I'm like, no, I'm fine. I said, sometimes it just builds up. And I'm like trying, and they're like, oh, fuck. All right, go back. So we went back. And that night, dude, I turned on the hot water because that's what
hmm
my mom would do when we didn't have money for medicine or whatever. And I would
Yeah.
just, I, dude, I
Wow.
survived.
Dude, yeah, I was like in formation, PT formation one morning, and I'm like at parade rest, and I coughed, and this giant loogie flew like literally like 4 feet, bro. Like I couldn't even help it. There was so much junk in there, and they're like, "You need to go talk to someone, dude."
Oh man,
So
dude.
yeah, I was that place sucks. So good job avoiding that.
Yeah, dude. Um, so
So what
many.
happens when you get so you get through boot camp, push through that? What's it like when you get to the fleet? Where'd you go? Were you at
Uh,
Pendleton?
yeah, I was at Pendleton, man. I was right down the street.
Okay.
Um, During School of Infantry, I kind of got a stride. Like,
Mhm.
just suck it the hell up, quit complaining, and you're okay. So I was like, all right, that's what I'm gonna do. I didn't complain like in boot camp or nothing. I couldn't, obviously, but I get to the barracks at 2-5, and I feel like this small.
Yep.
And dude, I'm 5'3" with boots on. All right, my my freaking platoon sergeant. He looks like he's 19 years old, blonde hair, and he pulls up in his Jeep with glasses on. I didn't know who it was at the time. And he gets his surfboard. He's ripped, bro. Ripped. Like crazy white boy, just ripped like crazy. And I'm just like, is that how we're gonna look here? Is that like we're gonna get killed here, you know? And he's like, all right, Boots. He's like he says, his name was Sergeant Metcalf. He says, hey, tells his corporals, hey, get these guys freaking boots and utes. This is our first day
Like
checking in.
yeah.
I was so scared, and that was my mom's fault, bro. She instilled so much fear, like, oh, don't go, don't do that, don't. So I carried all that stuff. So I'm like, oh my god, we're gonna die. So he ends up freaking taking us, and one of the corporals made me carry a rock. He said, this is your baby. You're gonna carry this everywhere you go. You understand that?
Hmm.
Yes, corporal. So boots and utes, man, and he just till we were used to it till we threw up, you know. Um, I think it was the halfway mark, and then we went back. But I heard Second Battalion, Fifth Marines, most decorated battalion in the Marine Corps, one of the first to go. And dude, I'm a believer in God. Like that's one thing that's really kept me grounded. I'm
Yeah.
not, dude. I'm like I'm like Paul, man. He says, man, everything that I want to do, I don't do. And everything that I do, I shouldn't have done. That
Yeah.
that's me, man. And that whole deal, uh, if it wasn't for that, bro, I probably wouldn't have survived anything.
Hmm.
Like literally, which you'll find out later, you know.
Yeah. All right. So that's a pretty good introduction. My first night in the barracks, I had a guy before it was outlawed. You can't wear like Confederate flag stuff now. He knocks on my door. Hey, you one of them new boots? It's like Roger, Sergeant. He's like, oh, I'm Lance Corporal Smith. Just call me Smith. I'm like, yeah. He's got a Confederate flag tattoo, like no shirt on. He's got a Confederate flag belt buckle and Confederate flag cowboy boots, and his jeans on. That's it's like first person to knock on my door, and I was so scared, dude. And he ended up being like super nice. Hey,
Oh
let me know
man.
if you need anything, man. I get another knock, couple hours later, and this other guy comes up like in a hoodie, just like, "Oh, you're a new guy?" So I'm like, yeah." He's like, "You signed up for Marine Online yet?" Or I think that's what it was called. I was like, "No, Corporal." He's like, "Ah, come with me. I'll get you hooked up." So like, that was my first night, and those guys ended up being. So when I got there, we were all consolidated as a weapons company. All the
Yep.
weapons guys as a
Hmm.
mortarman, because we were going to division schools. So uh, those both those guys ended up being golf company where I ended up later, and like I ended up in a for the most part like before we got hit in Iraq, I had like the coolest platoon sergeant in the history of mankind, where he would he was like a bullshit deflector. So anytime anything crappy came down, he'd have our backs like, no, we're not gonna do that. And he'd get so much flack. So we would do anything for the guy. our
Nice.
platoon.
That's a leader.
Yeah, our platoon never got in trouble because we didn't want to disappoint Dad. But if he did, dude, he probably wouldn't have to do anything because all the squad leaders are gonna just kill you. But
I
we
wonder
had a
what
good
books he
time.
read, because that's a good leader.
Yeah, so that was my first leader, and I took pretty much most of my traits from him.
Nice.
Throughout my career. But
Nice. Division schools, man.
yeah, I went there at Camp Margarita, and no one
Yep.
had been there in a long time because the war had popped off. So there was like cobwebs, and we were
Yep.
like the first group back.
Dude, that place I will love till the day I die.
It's beautiful up there.
Because I forgot how many months we were. It might have, yeah, it was before the first kickoff in '03.
Hmm.
Um, so one thing I didn't mention, my dad lived down the street from Oscar De La Hoya's boxing gym called Resurrection,
Oh wow.
and he took me into there because I wanted to go see it, but that was the introduction. So I started teaching myself how to box. My mom couldn't afford lessons, but there was a guy in near our hometown that he's like, "Mio, I got you." And I actually just visited him recently from South El Monte Boxing Gym. His name's Benny Lura. He builds champions, bro. Builds champions. Anyhow, these he was about 6'7", and this is a God's honest truth. So it's coming on here. I won't say the names, but there were six. He was like 6'7", and this corporal just wanted to make my life a living hell. Like, obviously I'm little, but you don't have to keep saying shit about it.
Yeah.
And he would just make us do the stupidest shit, like just to fuck with us. It wasn't leading. He wasn't a leader.
Yeah.
And I had some other corporals. I don't know what it was, bro, but I like people, but I don't like to be fucked with.
Hmm.
Excuse my language. Let's beep that one out.
That's fine.
That's the honest thing, dude. I'm not I don't get bullied. You know,
Yeah.
I'm little, so I gotta freaking fight. Anyhow, they kept just bothering me. I was like, I'm gonna take two sets of gloves. I'm gonna take two sets of gloves with me to freaking to division schools. I
Hmm.
took them, and it was a time and opportunity. The 6'7" guy, he's like, "Hey, little shit," or something like that. I was like, you know what, Corporal? I said, with all due respect, if you'd like to fight me, let's put on these boxing gloves. We got Sergeant over here, Corporal's over. They're like, oh, you're Harwood, you're gonna beat his ass, blah blah blah. Oh shit, I already said his name. Let's bleep that out. And bro, this dude, he didn't know what hit him, man. I was a little Mighty Mouse, and
Yeah.
bro, literally, we had to stop because they thought I broke his nose. And then another corporal comes. He's like, "I'll get Sarabia. I'll get him." And ever since then, bro, like, thank God, thank God. I'm like, I ain't got no problems, but I got hands.
Yeah. Did they
So,
mess with you a lot less after that?
oh yeah, dude, it was way less.
Nice.
Yeah. So it was good, man.
That's awesome.
We did the invasion, and I went with these guys, and I got to see a lot of like the good stuff, man.
Hmm.
Like taking care of us, like the leaders, like, "Hey, Robbie, you good?" "Yeah, yes, Corporal, I'm good." So I was the driver with RCT 5,
Okay.
and I had Gunny with me. Uh, Gunny was like, he looked like he was 65 years old, all white hair. He always had a stogie in his mouth, and my name at that time was Goddammit Sarabia. That's what it was. And I'm just driving, man. We go in through the invasion, and I remember, dude, we're driving, man, and I remember the chem lights. You know,
Mhm.
I guess recon went out there. They lit a path for us as we go across those big old berms.
Mhm.
It was like 03 in the morning. I can't remember, but we're driving, man, and I'm one of the first vehicles with RCT5, and
Uh-huh.
I am crapping bricks, man. I'm
Dude,
crapping
that's
bricks. Go ahead.
you're right there. My
Yeah.
recruiter was 3'5", and he said they were in tracks, or he was.
Yes.
He was on the invasion and everything, and they were blaring AC/DC in the back of the track when
Ah,
they crossed the berm.
oh, dude, that's so cool, man. He, it's funny because we had one of our corporals. Um, he as soon as we crossed the LOD, you hear on the radio, Gunny, and dude, we're already taking contact,
Oh
and
damn!
he's like, Gunny, can I go condition one? And he's like, if they're shooting at ya, and he do 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 do. We're weapons company, bro. Like,
Hell
oh
yeah,
my
dude.
fudge. I mean, driving through there, dude. You know those 3 days, like we didn't stop, right? And I'm
Mhm.
exhausted. I'm putting coffee dip in my mouth just to try to give me a little bit of a kick.
Yeah,
And
probably
I
going
think,
delirious.
oh, dude, yeah, for sure. Well, we had night vision on, bro. And I end up like, we're stopped. And I end up falling asleep, dude. Falling asleep. And all of a sudden, I see nothing. I see no freaking Humvees. And I start going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And my gunny's like, what are you doing? And I go like this. Oh, yeah, dude.
Dude, this one mission, I was a driver on my first deployment, and for whatever reason, our XO was, really sharp. He decided that we were gonna go, uh, clear this road at night. And we're like, okay, nighttime's kind of hard to see, but I guess, maybe less people are watching. And this is like down when we had gone south of Fallujah in the middle of the desert. Uh, so they're like, we're going to have snipers walk along the road. So your squad's going to take snipers with you and some Iraqi army dudes. And they're going to walk in front of you guys. And we're like, what? Do snipers see better than us? Like, I don't get it. Like, what's the thinking here? So, snipers and my squad, and I'm a driver. So, I think we had like 3 vehicle minimum movement at the time. So, the guys get out and walking, and then us 3 drivers had to just go at walking speed at night in the middle of the night in our trucks. And you're just like, try not to fall asleep with that nice diesel engine, like whoa, 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 whoa. You're
Oh,
like, try
God.
not to run over your buddies, dude.
You don't, that is torture, bro. Like,
Yeah,
that is complete torture. I don't think I hated anything else other than that sleep that I wanted.
yeah. That's probably like sucking on a long movement, being hot. If you're well rested, sometimes like there's only so much you can do when it's 125 in full kit and you're walking around. But I'd say lack of sleep's the hardest, dude, because
Oh,
you're like
man.
trying so hard to stay sharp and on it, but you just like your body's trying to shut down.
It is so good for business, but we could talk about that after.
Yeah.
Having that mentality.
Yeah.
Dude, that war, easy, bro. Easy money all day. Like, we got in a couple firefights, no big deal.
Mhm.
Um, a lot of funny memories, a lot of like horrific body parts stuff that as a 19-year-old kid, I was like, I wasn't sure what to think about all that, man. We had dogs eating a torso right in front of us, and I was like, this is not normal.
Yeah.
The smells, everything, and I didn't, dude. And I'm crazy because I did never in a million years would I thought how much it would affect my whole team, all of us, every
Mhm.
single one of us. But it wasn't until Wasn't until that second deployment, man.
Yeah,
That's what made Ralphie a man.
Ramadi.
Mahdi, bro.
Yeah, I'll do it to you.
We we land. I don't. It was I was in Hurricane Point. With all
I'm
of
not
Weapons
familiar
Company.
with that.
Huh?
I'm not familiar with that.
Okay. Weapons Company had this little freaking area on the side of Euphrates River,
Okay.
and right in front of us was Route Michigan. That's so famous, man.
Oh yeah.
You have a 3.5 mile stretch to the other, to like golf companies, AO or Fox. I got blown up a lot, so that doesn't help either. But yeah, dude, you have like three ways to go, but every direction you go, you're gonna get hit. It happened every day.
Yeah.
Um, I remember we did left seat, right seat, and I thought like the guy from 2-4 was like on meth or something, because he was like, "Hey, bro, you like," he was just like, "You gotta freaking shoot, man." He's like, "Don't fucking, you gotta shoot, don't freeze." And I'm like, I'm in the gun. I'm like, I got this, like. But it was like, dude, he just. That's when I was like, what the heck's going on here? And it wasn't till we started riding, bro. They're like, they're gonna hit us here. They always hit us here.
Hmm.
And all of a sudden, and just everything, all hell breaks loose, bro.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I had to go because I got tunnel vision,
Yep.
and my throat got tight, my legs started shaking, and he's saying, "Shoot, motherfucker, shoot!" And I'm like, okay, but I don't see anything, bro.
Yeah.
I don't see anything, and I'm like, and I just, dude, I'm aiming at the dirt, bro, because my biggest fear that whole entire deployment, every deployment, was, don't look, God, don't let me kill a child. Don't put me in a position to
Oh
do
yeah.
that.
I
That,
almost did that once,
dude,
dude.
I don't know. I'm
Well, hey, going back to when you first get contact, was it exactly like a movie for you, like it was for me? Like it slows down, and I got tunnel vision, and everything went really slow for me. Like we hit an IED, like a truck ahead, and it was just like, whoo, and
mm-hmm.
it was like kind of smoky, probably literally, but it was like, dude, it was wild. It was just everything slowed down. We looked at each other, and then we're like, oh yeah, our SOP is to dismount and set up security at the time, which definitely changed years later. But uh, I don't know. That's how I felt. Is it was just like slowed down. It was crazy, dude.
I don't know if you know the statistics on combat veterans versus green zone guys. The men that actually have seen combat is less than, and let me, men and women that have seen combat is less than 1% of our
Really?
population, bro.
Oh, of our okay. I thought you were gonna say of the military.
No,
Okay.
it's not like that, but I
Yeah,
forgot the number of that. But you, dude, less than 1% of our population seen combat.
it's crazy.
It's
Wonder what
nuts,
it was after World War II or one.
right, bro?
Like 10.
That's the issue. But yeah, man, that type of stuff, like, that happened every day.
Wow.
And I got to the point, like, I don't think I ever, it was so freaking scary, dude. And like, you don't, that fear
Hmm.
that I know, that's a fear that's undescribable. It's a fear that from what my experience
Yeah.
was, it could have killed me just in the fear itself. Like, that's how I felt.
Hmm.
Um, but this is the cool part about it, bro. I never in a million years knew what courage was. I didn't. And what I realized courage was is I am scared like a mother, man. I'm freaking shivering like a leaf, dude. I'm like ready to quit on my guys that split second. Like I feel like my legs are just gonna drop. And these
Yeah.
rounds are going, and it's like that courage is when you stand up and you pull that trigger and you're like, I have to. Like, if
Yeah.
I die, I'd rather die knowing I'm protecting my guys versus me dying being a bitch.
Yeah.
That's courage, man.
Yeah. Dang. So what else
What else
anything
happened?
else? Well, I mean, obviously you're in it every day there.
we
And then
got some stories.
I would guess by that time you probably were a short timer when you got home, right?
Yeah, yeah. Uh, that was that was crazy in itself. Um, but going back, dude, that deployment was ridiculous. Um, I loved my guys like no other, and our guys were getting hit every day.
Mhm.
Um, our platoon was hit with 23 IEDs within 50 feet of my truck. 23 IEDs. Um, we lost we lost my driver. So that carried a lot of shame, dude. With
Mhm.
my driver who was 19 at the time.
Yeah.
Um, dude, we lost our buddies, our brothers, um, guys that we went to boot camp with, and that was a different type of emotion that I felt bad because I tried to cry. I was
Mhm.
so disconnected and emotionally numb,
Yeah.
and but it was something that you need as a warrior. Like there's a time and place for that, and that's not the place. That's
Yeah.
how I felt personally.
I know that feeling. We had when we got hit, my platoon sergeant who I was telling you about earlier got hurt and you know, and four other guys. Luckily none of them died, but some of them didn't look like they were going to make it, but it was like I was cleaning his rifle off and it had like pieces of his arm and his blood and like somehow there was blood in the bolt. I don't know, dude. So like I had to clean that off. I stopped, I cried for a while, you know, and
Yeah,
then me and this guy who totally didn't like each other at all, like he embraced me and like we got through it and then within a couple hours we had to carry on and go take over at the entry control point. And you let it go. And but yeah, that was I know you definitely have seen like way more combat than I have, but I know a little bit. So, yeah,
it,
that's
dude. I tell the guys like, no, one freaking round in enemy territory, one rocket, it's
mhm,
enough. Like it's just reconditioning that you probably gonna die. Um, you know the crazy part, bro? I don't know how many units went through this,
mhm,
but our CO that was with us during the workup,
yeah,
we get to left seat, right seat. He gets ambushed. He comes back, bro, and he hides under a Humvee and refuses to get out. And the colonel and everybody pull him out. He's never to be seen again.
wow,
And the person that took his place was a bad son of a gun. His name was Captain Rapico
mhm,
from Florida, but he was French. If you go on to 60 Minutes 25 Weapons Company,
uh-huh,
they did a special on our platoon.
oh wow,
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, but he ended up passing away. We lost 15 guys from weapons. Oh no, I think 11 from weapons. Um, very traumatic stuff, man. But
like on deployment or this is after?
no, this is on deployment, bro.
Wow,
Yeah, we lost two of our snipers, man. Hubbard and Barrow. Like I had lunch with Barrow, not Barrow, Hubbard, chilling. Like, cause I talked to everybody, man.
yeah,
I was the guy that I would have dance competitions right before we're gonna go on to a raid or a cordon, And
Yeah.
I would like, dude, they just, I wanted everybody to feel like, hey man, if this is gonna be us, bro, let's leave it all here.
Yeah, our platoon, our weapons platoon was a bunch of goons, dude. Yeah,
It's crazy how
for
kids
sure.
can do that during trauma, huh?
One, I think that the vibe we had there, I carried with me into the guard, and like my squad or section has always been a bunch of goons, but we get the job done. You got to try to have some fun when you're just in the shit. You have
Or
to.
you're gonna go nuts.
Yeah. Well, and earlier you were talking about how like for some people it could take one time being in combat that could change you. The crazy thing is like I think it's because like my this last deployment I never left the base. Like my other three, I was on missions all the time, just like, all right, maybe I'll get blown up today or whatever, and sitting on the base the whole time, and like I had to run a whole bunch of stuff on the base and the mortar section and just kind of be ready. And then all of a sudden when we did get hit, and it's these crazy like submunitions, uh, like indirect fire, like not the normal like 107s. Oh, they shot a rocket, and yeah, it didn't hit me again. Whoop de doo. Like you just hear like getting closer and closer and closer, and I think that affected me for sure more than like you know having an IED hit two trucks ahead and hit my friends, or getting pop shotted at once, or having some indirect fire land like 100 meters away.
There's a lot of research on that, bro.
Well,
You
and all these dudes in Ukraine, when you read anything about it, and they're all in this trench warfare with artillery and all these munitions and drones, they're like everything you read is like it's a nightmare because there's nothing you can do about it.
man, that's
So
that's insane.
that's like we went from driving around IEDs and actually getting in ticks like you, and like on my early deployments, to drones and indirect fire, like, and just kind of sitting around, dude.
You
It's
guys
like,
had drones that were coming over the wire,
yeah,
or like that's crazy, dude.
I, I never had a hostile drone where I was at. We had like surveillance ones we shot down, but the other base got hit by one, and a contractor died, and some soldiers got injured. So
Wow,
like that's the thing now, dude. And like another one got hit by a few, and no one got hurt. But like the drone stuff's crazy, man. It's weird.
that's the unexpected. That's the waiting and not knowing that
Mhm.
messes with your mind more than anything.
Yeah.
Um, I would share this with the guys that literally just stayed on base, and they're
Hmm.
like, "Man, I didn't see anything, man." And I'm like, "No, you're more susceptible to the severe anxiety because of that fear of the unknown, like waiting, versus a
Hmm.
guy that our team just got hit. We're gonna go out there, kick ass, and take names. Like there's an action.
Yeah.
They
That
You guys
that
don't have
totally
an
makes
action.
sense. That this is the one deployment I've had an issue with. So that's interesting. And it sucks because I'm used to being the dude out there, and this time I
That's
just like,
Hey man, that's gonna be one of those scars that it'll pop up when at the most inopportune time,
yep,
right?
yeah,
But that's why dude, that's why I love what I do, man.
yeah.
On
So let's
every
talk about
Yeah.
let's get into that. So after Ramadi, short timer, probably would you have a few months till you got out when you got home?
Um, no, I
Maybe a
had
year.
6 months left, and I asked one of our Gunny Rojas if I could go to be a SOG
Uh huh.
and at the guard shack, and that was the most beautiful job. I was so thankful,
Mm-hmm.
and my NCOs, man, they They took care of it, bro. They took care of it. And hey,
Yeah.
hey, Sergeant Sarabia, you're good, bro. Go surf.
Yeah.
But as soon as I got out, I was so excited, man. I had plans. I was going to be an LAPD officer, just like
Hmm.
my uncles, my cousins. I'm going to share the same stories about being detective and all that. That was my dream. I watched
Hmm.
Colors on rerun. That was my Christmas movie of every week, man.
Uh-huh.
And I end up getting out. You know, a little bit. I was just trying to get what's the word? Freaking just uh,
Acclimated and adjusted.
acclimated.
Yeah.
Yeah, acclimated. And they told us to file for unemployment. So the week that I got out, I was on unemployment for 7 days, not doing anything. And
Hmm.
I was like, I can't do this. I cannot do this. I
Yeah.
became a man of action. And I called my cousin. I was like, hey, you're in construction, right? I was like, hey, bro, you guys hiring? Dude, I'll do anything. And
Hmm.
he's like, well, we need somebody to dig holes for fencing. I'm the guy. So I did that for a few months. And then I
Hmm.
got hired on with Gavin DeBecker and Associates.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dude, we're so weird how similar we are.
Why?
I I got really far with them, and then I freaked out on the lie detector. Dude, they're like, "It's okay. It's just your name, bro."
Knucklehead, it's not even plugged in.
I was like, "What are you?" Dude, and
Oh,
I'm
man.
I'm like, "Dude, I'm not lying. I'm a super straight shooter." And I'm like freaking out, bro.
Yeah. Dude,
What else? So they ended up calling me a couple years later, and they're like, "Okay, yeah, we got a job for you." And then I actually had our one of our first big events for the All American Riders, and I was like, "Sorry, I can't take it, can't miss it." But yeah,
good.
that's funny. So how long did you work there?
I worked there about a year and a half. Um,
Okay.
I was working for at the time, the fourth richest man in the world. I got to see dude, driving Bentleys with pink mink
Oh
as the
yeah,
floor mats.
I
It,
I
it,
did some EP like work later on, and it was the easiest thing I ever did. It was great.
they live on a different planet, and that's okay.
Hmm.
Um, I did that, and I was just not having it. I actually started a business in 2008 when you got out. It was
Okay.
perfect. It left within a year. I lost a lot of money that I
Yeah.
saved up, and then I went to LAPD. I did my stuff. I passed everything, bro. I was just like skyrocketing, man. My favorite part was the oral interview.
Uh-huh.
And dude, they freaking gave me a perfect score. They're like, that's who we want. Let's go. And actually, one of my guys from 2-5, he's a sniper. He freaking worked with, it's called a GED unit at the time. And
Hmm.
he's like, well, never mind. They just took care of me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And so I get all the way through. I'm stoked. I'm ready. And freaking, I get they said, you have a conditional job offer in the mail, contingent on you passing your medical. And
Hmm.
so I went in, did the medical, good shape, but they did the color vision.
Mm.
And they said, okay, you are colorblind. You and I'm like, I'm not colorblind. I can see everything. And they're like, no, you can't differentiate between brown and green. And I knew that was true because I went to a base when we were in the war to go
Hmm.
get my guys some shirts, and I ended
Uh-huh.
up getting Marines Army shirts.
Uh,
Like, what the fuck is this? I was like, it's just shirts. Like, this is Army green, bro. Yeah, so I knew that, but
oh snap.
dude, I ended up freaking they basically told me, good luck. Sorry, we can't take you. I mean,
Dang.
dude, this is identity, right, bro?
Yeah.
Like a kid, you're telling me that after
Your whole
everything
dream's
I've been
gone.
through that I'm not good enough?
Yeah.
So I went back, dude. I peeled it. I freaking even got an appointment with the chief, the second in command at that time,
Hmm.
and I said, sir, I said, if the United States can trust me in a foreign country, why can't you trust me in our own backyard?
Wow.
And he's like, hey, son, it's just politics. He's like, here's a coin. He hands me his chief coin and he says, nothing I can do. I was like, I'm going to go shoot myself right now because that's how bad that was, dude. That's how
Dang.
bad it was. This guy had no idea. Drive home, dude. I'm devastated. And I go through like this deep fall of depression, man, because now I'm nobody. My
Yeah.
identity was I was a leader of men. Now I'm nobody. Now I'm gonna be just like my dad, who who medicated with cocaine, heroin. I would eat my Captain Crunch with a burnt spoon. Like
Damn.
I tell people, I put this on the last one. I was like, I say you're not hood unless you've eaten your Captain Crunch from a burnt spoon,
Yeah. No doubt.
you know. But dude, I was devastated, and it's not at your timing, it's at God's timing.
Mm-hmm.
Where there was a book I was reading by Stephen Furtick. It was called Sun Stand Still.
Mm-hmm.
And in the book, there's this little tiny deal, dude, that stood out to me. And it said, sometimes your dreams have to die so God's dream can come alive.
Yeah.
And bro, I don't know what happened, man, but I was like, I met my wife, beautiful wife, dude. This is how crazy it is. I started the business, I closed the business, but my wife was the one doing the orders for my business. And then we get married, right? And that's what that was about. And then LAPD doesn't work. My wife says, "You better get your ass in school, do something." Like I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't lazy, I was always working.
Yeah.
So I started going to school. I dropped out 4 times, bro. Like
Wow.
my memory, I couldn't even remember how to get home. Like there was so much, the anxiety and the TBI.
Yeah.
It was just on another level. By the fifth time, my wife's like, "You're either gonna continue to make excuses, or you're gonna do something about it." Thank God she did that, bro. I got my bachelor's in psychology. Now I thought I
Mm-hmm.
was muy chingon. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go to USC. I'm kind of smart. So I apply for USC. I get in to USC on academic probation. I'm barely squeezing it, right? But I'm a hard worker. I may not be the smartest one, but I'm hard. I will work my ass off for anything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, I get into USC, and within the first year, my dad dies. Massive heart attack. Now I'm like feeling guilty because of that stuff. I should have
Mm-hmm.
talked to him more, all that. I get kicked out of USC for academics.
Oh.
And I'm like, God, like, why? I feel like I'm failing time at everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I go back and I am able to get my master's degree in clinical social work. And at the same time, I was actually working for some of the most influential pop stars in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot say names. Young, young, young white boy kids. I don't know if that makes sense. But yeah, just one of the biggest. And then I wanted to be a clinician, bro. I started getting my own counseling.
Uh-huh.
All they told me is one thing, bro. I went through all this depression. I was crying every day, bro, for no reason, and I'm like, I'm going insane. I feel like I'm
Mm-hmm.
always nervous. Like it's uncontrollable. I couldn't even talk to people because I felt like they could see my lip quivering, and there was no reason. And I know a
Yeah.
lot of our guys go through this. And this one clinician, they weren't even freaking combat, bro. It was this lady. She's like, "Hey, son," she said, "listen." She's like, "You're not alone. You are not alone." Bro, it felt like the weight of the world just came crashing down.
Yeah, everyone, like, most people do that to themselves. It's so weird. I
What do you
feel
mean?
like they think they're alone and they isolate or they're facing a challenge and like they isolate every time and like you have a buddy you got to go get them like come on dude what How many times are you gonna learn that you gotta do the opposite when you're feeling this way? But
Dude,
that everyone just keeps doing it, man. It's
bro,
crazy.
this community, like this generation, bro, this is one thing that's really near and dear to my heart.
Hmm.
Like, we gotta keep each other accountable. Stop feeling like we gotta, like, everybody's feelings are gonna get hurt. Like,
Yeah.
it is not good for man to be alone, first of all.
Yep.
And it's our ego. It was my ego. I don't trust anybody. I don't trust man because they're gonna let me down.
Hmm.
And that was me, like, isolating. And that did nothing for me. It hurt my family more than anything.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I realized, I was like, no, like, I gotta trust God with my people, man. If he's
Hmm.
gonna bring people around me, they're gonna screw me over. Oh well. So I just started, like, this dude. This is the last 3 years. I've been preaching
Okay.
this for a long time.
Hmm.
Where now I have people that I can go around. Um, Not that I trust 100%, but I'm 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 able to share like I am with you right now. That
Uh huh.
I'm so broken. I'm so broken, bro. Like,
Yeah.
every every day is a battle, and I'm a therapist for combat vets. Every day is a battle. But one thing, bro, is I'm not sitting inside my house avoiding. I am constantly fighting that anxiety because that's what we do.
Yeah.
And these guys are medicated, and they're just medicated, and they're sitting there and they're like, I don't know why I'm so miserable. It's because you don't have purpose, bro. Like, go help somebody.
Yeah.
Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Our combat vets need to know that. Stop
Well,
feeling sorry for yourself. Be a leader of your family, a
when
leader
how?
to.
Yeah, and like I 100% agree, and especially for the guys who didn't make it. Like you got like honor them with your life, man. If you want a purpose, go out there and do all the things that they can't do. That whether we were over in these places, right or wrong, whatever,
But what if I'm
everyone
scared? What if I'm scared to go out? What do you say then?
they don't even have that choice. They can't go anywhere.
Man, it's so true,
So
bro. I didn't expect you to say that one, but like, I was expecting to go anyway. But that's a good one too. You got me.
well, I mean, one, you know what else I tell people is in basic training, whatever branch you're in. I mean, I can only speak for Marine Corps, but I know other branches do a pretty good job too. Probably not as good, but
No,
the
it's true. But go ahead.
I was completely prepared to face any challenge and just stay calm and keep going. Like maybe not like internally calm, but you will take calm actions and figure out a plan and move forward, make a decision, get off the X. Like a bad decision is better than no decision. So, uh, like they broke us down, built us up. We got through so many challenges. Think about being away and what they do to you in basic training in any branch. They prepare you for the worst possible situations you could ever face in life. And then you just like get out and you're like, oh, I can't do this or that. Like, no, dude, you are prepared for anything. Go forth and conquer.
That's the part. That's the part that we get confused on. Is, and I have to. I don't disagree with anybody because I don't like conflict. But I'm gonna say I disagree because
Mm-hmm.
this shit happens when you're kids. Like, the way that resilience factor, it happens when you're a kid. I never had it. I
Yeah.
don't know if you had it, but it's a choice. It's a choice. And if you want to be a shitbag for your whole entire life and say, oh, yeah, I'm a war veteran, and have people feel sorry for yourself, all right,
Yep.
then do that. But just know that there are young men watching you. There are young people that need to see what a freaking man looks like. A real man. And it's missing, bro.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. It's
missing.
one. Did you end up having children?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
so I mean, yeah, my dad, my parents split up when I was young, 5, and I just every day I have with my kids, I got an 18-year-old, a 2-year-old, and another one on the way, and just watching them and being able to be there is magical, man. And being, you if you're a good parent, you're always judging yourself because you want to do better.
yep,
But
that's me.
sometimes you just have to sit back and realize, like, look, I'm trying and I'm here. And dude, kids, they just need you to be present and love them. Like, you know, there's days you're gonna be not the best parent because you're stressed out and tired or whatever, and then you're gonna be like, wow, I was an idiot yesterday, and you'll do better. But like, that's what good parents do. You're gonna mess up, but you carry on, and because you need to build that next generation and be proud of them. And one of the most beautiful things in the world is watching your child do something new or excel at anything, man. Wow, wow, they learned how to write. Look at how well they speak already. Or they just made, 3 shots in basketball today in their basketball game. Whatever, man. It's like the coolest thing in the world. So, for
Yeah,
those of us veterans who have kids, it's so sad. I don't like go down a huge rabbit hole here, but going into what you're doing um, now, which we'll get into a little more here in a sec, but like those of us who have kids, like find purpose in that and use the skills we have to show them what they can be. Be
mm,
all you can be, man. And I think just trying to be an example for your children and guide them, and then later in life they're gonna forget it. Like now that I have a teenager, I understand that they'll remember the stuff in their early, mid, late 20s, somewhere in there. Like they
bro.
forget it. They hit middle school, but you it's it's a beautiful thing. They're going to remember what you taught them. Just be there, be present, and try to teach them the lessons that I feel like I'm lucky to have learned because of having been in the service so long, you know?
Yeah, I actually just had a conversation with my 10-year-old. So I have a 16-year-old son. He's my
Mhm.
stepson, but I've known him since he was 3 months old.
Oh wow, okay.
And then I have my 10-year-old Gracie.
Uh-huh.
Dude, such a sweetheart. And then I have my 9-year-old Uriah,
Mhm.
and then Zack Attack, who is 5.
Dang, got lots.
And one cool thing, bro, is that I had a conversation with my daughter, and I'm always judging myself. Like, I get home, I'm tired, and I'm like, man, I wish I had freaking 19-year-old energy. And I'm like, it's because I'm fat. It's because I'm fat. I need to freaking lose weight. I'm not going to have dinner tonight, that whole thing. But
Yeah.
I had this conversation with my daughter, and I was like, baby girl, I was like, daddy can get so busy. I can get so busy with so many things. And I
Mhm.
said, I know that you need my time. Or I said, I know that you need more from me. And I've taken her on dates. I've showed her what a man will treat you like, right?
Yeah.
Like I open the door for her. And the times that I don't, she's like, Dad, sorry about that.
Heck
And
yeah.
I thought about this, bro. I'm trying to get this big ranch house that one day that my kids can have, and the freaking the quads, everything, man, and just sit on the porch, bro, and watch them run around. And I'm busy building while they're growing.
Yeah.
And I said, baby girl, what can I do? Like, do you need gifts? Like, what is gonna speak to your love language? And she's like, Dad, you're a great dad. She's like, I just want some more time. And one thing I realized, bro, every freaking veteran, male or female, they don't tell me, oh, I missed the big house. I miss all the freaking trips we went on, all the money we had. They miss time with their dad, their mom. It's like we're missing it, bro.
And you can't get it back, dude. They're only kids for 18 years, and for like the last 6 of those they don't like you, so.
Oh gosh. Yeah, it's happening. It's like, what did I ever
Yeah,
do? But
I know. It's cool to have the perspective of having an 18-year-old and having a 2-year-old. I just watch my 2-year-old, dude. Like, wow. Every day he's changing, like, and this is it, dude. So, but I had more energy having a kid at 19 too. So like, you know what I
bro,
mean?
I've
It
been
was
so
like,
desperate. I've been so desperate for freaking energy. My
yeah.
my little boy's like, "Daddy, can we go outside and play football?" I'm like, "Yeah, 1 second. Let me put some pre-workout." No lie, bro. I don't know how many people do that, but I'm like, I'm itchy. I'm like, "Come on, throw the ball. Throw the ball." You know?
Dude, I'm in the same boat, bro.
It's
Oh, that's
true, man.
awesome.
But yeah, man, that's that's basically good stuff, man. Good stuff.
Yeah. You're married, you got kids. That's the most important thing is your family life and you're good there. What are you doing? Um, Tell us about what you're doing for your regular job and then tell us about Putasos.
So for the last 13, 14 years, I have been a counselor, not at the VA, but at what's called a vet center.
Oh yeah.
Trigger
Those are
pullers,
awesome.
veterans, I need to share this with you. This is one of the biggest gifts you could ever give yourself and your family. So, what I do, let's say I'm sitting with you, bro. You know how we're talking right now?
Mm-hmm.
That's how I'm talking with my clients. No
Yeah.
lie. And then I'll be like, hey, bro, like, how's your heart? Like, how are you feeling, bro? Like, I'm just depressed, man. Okay, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Hey, you know this is normal, right? This is normal because you're not, dude. You were never meant to fit in, brother.
Yeah.
Never meant to fit in. That's why we feel so like out of place.
Mm-hmm.
You're that's who God made you to be. Somebody who doesn't go with the crowd.
Yeah.
And I share with these guys, man. One thing I love is I'm a counselor for combat vets, and I treat PTSD, sexual trauma, any type of whether it's drug, alcohol abuse, anything like that. I'll send
Mm-hmm.
out referrals, but I know my primary purpose is to rebuild these broken these broken guys.
Heck
And I'll
yeah.
tell you what, the war was part of it, but there's a wounded boy that needs to be rebuilt too.
Oh yeah, dude. For sure. For
It's
sure.
crazy, bro. That is my passion right now, and we can talk more about that later. But
Yeah.
is these broken men that they don't realize how strong and powerful they really are, and the level of influence that a man has on his family.
Yeah.
If you would just stop like feeling sorry for yourself, and you may not call it feeling sorry, you may call it like, oh, I'm just broken.
Mm-hmm.
Well, don't be so broke that you're not asking somebody for help, because we can't
Yeah.
help you unless you come this way. At least meet us halfway.
Yeah. Dude, speaking very true to exactly what you're saying. I had a friend, combat vet, Fallujah vet, who we like. He started going a little bit to the vet center, and then he quit, and he just like wouldn't help himself, and it ended up ruining our friendship. And I love the guy. I wish he would like. He chose not to talk to me anymore because I was real straight with him. Like, dude,
Dude,
you need to
that's the
stop.
best thing you could do, man.
Yeah. So I mean, I pray for him and I miss him, but like, you have to take that step and do some legwork yourself to get through it.
And if your mom and your wife are trying to push you to go, like,
It's a sign.
obviously they love you. They
Yeah.
know, but a lot of guys carry this, man, like it's forever. And you know
Mm-hmm.
what? What an honor for us to be a part of that less than 1%. If you're carrying that cross, it's for a reason, and you have so much influence. So I've been doing this counseling for 13, 14 years.
Mm-hmm.
I hold a Vietnam veterans group. Everything is wrapped around PTSD, but it's also wrapped around community. We can't
Mm-hmm.
do this alone. We need other like minded brothers. I have an
Yeah.
Iraq Afghanistan veterans group that I have on Thursday nights.
Mm-hmm.
And bro, every single one of those guys are like, fuck, I didn't realize it, man. They're like, that damn keyboard warrior at work, that knucklehead over there. And it's like, yeah, we go through the same shit. Do you want to beat their ass? Like, oh, dude, I want to take them outside, but I just, give them two dots or something,
Dude, that's a big reason we're doing this podcast. Like, yeah, Bunker Bros, we got clothing and stickers and whatever. Like, that's cool if you like it. But there's a need, like, I'm part of my VFW in my town. Like, don't, why isn't our generation hanging out with each other and strengthening each other? Like, that's also why, me and my buddies started the All American Riders. Like, dude, we're veterans joining together, strengthen each other's families. Our spouses can look out for each other because they have to deal with us all the time. Like, you know what I mean? You build that community, and then you're unstoppable, dude. And you can do great things for your community and your state and your country and whatever. And just build that tribe because that's what we all need is our tribe. And if you find other people with uh, similar experiences, they're the only ones that are going to 100% understand you. Like, why aren't we doing that? So,
Right, right.
you know,
I agree, man. And there's so much potential in our guys. Like,
mhm,
I've used my anxiety to get through some of the most difficult challenges. Um, and when there's really big trauma stuff that happens, I don't know about you, bro, but I go through the slow mo. I see everything slow mo, and I'm the most peaceful that I've ever been. Could be a car accident, and
mhm.
feel like I'm walking up like this. You
Dude,
know,
I came up on a motorcycle accident going to work back when I was still in SoCal, like, I don't know, 9 years ago.
yeah.
And I just went up. I told the guy, like, don't take your helmet off. You might have an injury, whatever. Of course, he didn't listen to me, and I think he had headphones in. But I'm like, sit there. And I went and turned his bike off because his tire was just like, and
People
then
don't
a
do
nurse,
that.
yeah, and then a nurse hopped over the median, and I'm like, well, I'm done here, and I got out of the way for CHP and whatever. Like
Did you
it,
feel
it
that?
yeah, but it's like it's so easy. I'm just conditioned for it.
Exactly.
You're like, eh.
But you
So it,
got the bad part is you got the lady that's going, call 911, call
yeah,
911. And it's like, ma'am, you're making this way worse than it has to be.
yeah, it is
I already
easy.
called. You're good.
Yeah, that's funny. So
But
it's really that's got to be super fulfilling to do that for your daily job. But on top of that, tell us about Putasos and how that got started and what you're doing with that.
so the honest truth and transparency is I was doing a progress note during COVID. I was at my house and I felt in my heart, my spirit, like get this company off the ground and do it right and do it in order.
Mm-hmm.
And I know who was talking to me. This my
Yeah.
the man upstairs, and I was like, I immediately knew what I was gonna do. I actually started two businesses at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I started, I trademarked Putasos, which is gonna be it wasn't a boxing brand, bro. It
Mm-hmm.
was an apparel line. That's all this was.
Uh huh.
And the reason why I did it, I'll get to that. And I spent $10,000 to become a federal contractor.
Mm-hmm.
So I was gonna supply KN95 masks, all that stuff. But Putasos, I printed these shirts, man. I went through months of like trying to find this design, and Putasos, I felt like I read so many books on branding, and Putasos, the whole meaning behind it is it's Spanish slang for knockout punches.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're in the back of a kitchen, you got two Mexicans are like, "Oh, you want to go throw some putazos? Let's go." That's what that is, right?
Okay.
And so I named it Putasos, and the way I branded it is throwing putazos. We throw putazos at PTSD, anxiety, depression, and whatever would hold you back from being the best version of yourself. I
Mm-hmm.
knew that putazos was going to be black and yellow because my branding book said, "Go look on the freeway and tell me what two colors stand out: black and
Nice.
yellow." That's
Whoa.
a nugget for you guys. Yeah, I see it. So I was nervous throughout this whole process because I don't want to fail. Like failure to me is that's like I'm dead. And
Mhm.
so my wife and I came together, prayed about everything, and I said, if she agrees, then we're gonna do this. If not, I'm not gonna do it. It's just me being crazy. We printed these shirts. I had over 200 shirts. Within 48 hours of posting on Instagram, they were all sold out.
Bro, I
That's
guess I should have prayed before I started Bunker Bros.
no, it's been like this, but
Yeah,
that
that's still amazing.
right? And it just seemed weird because I was like, okay, I guess that's a good thing. So what I ended up doing was I went to a boxing match and we I had all my shirts and everything, and one of the commissioners came up to me, like the actual boxing commissioner,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, "Man, I love your name. I love he's like, have you ever thought about starting a building a boxing glove?" And I already knew I was going to, but I didn't know when. And
Mm-hmm.
he's like, okay. He says, he's like, we'll talk. Anyhow, make a long story short, bro. He had me do the application and all that stuff. I became an approved, sanctioned by the state of California, the most difficult place to ever get approved for professional boxing gloves.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that means the most to me is boxing is not it's not just a combat sport. Boxing is life. You've heard Canelo's no boxing, no life. What that means is think of every time you got your ass whooped in life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, boxing, there are times when you can't breathe, you can't see, you're pissing blood, you can't see through your eyes, like you're completely exhausted. That's when it counts. That's when you use the corazon, the heart, to keep pushing. And that's what I tell these guys, like in suicide, like that's a no, don't even think of that as a last resort. I said, put on some freaking boxing gloves because that's what worked for me, bro. I would be
Yeah.
crying, dude. I had a Beretta right on my side, dude. It's either that Beretta or I'm gonna freaking just keep going, dude, till I can't breathe anymore. And that's what
Mm-hmm.
saved my life with God's help and my family. And I said, man, what better thing than to build out some badass boxing gloves?
Yeah.
So
That's what's move it
I
move
went
it
through,
to the side a little more.
oh, like this?
Yeah, or like where your face is so we can see it better.
Oh, like this. Hold on,
Yeah.
where's the camera? This side? There you go.
Yeah.
So it says veteran owned.
Nice.
And there's 16 stars on here, and those are for the 16 guys that 2-5 lost in the two wars. The
Wow,
flag
okay.
that's backwards, it to the way I tell these guys is this is the flag that you never retreat. You never go backwards, no matter how scared you are, and you fight to the end.
That's awesome.
So then we have our combat patch right there,
Yeah.
and yeah, dude, it's like Dolce and Gabbana style, man. I wasn't playing. So
It's awesome.
we developed some of the nicest gloves. Um, I'm very proud, dude. Yeah, go ahead.
No, that's just freaking sweet, dude. It's so nice.
And I never in a million years thought I would start a boxing brand. Um, I've had world champions wear my gloves, bro. Um, I
Wow.
have some freaking amazing fighters wearing my gloves. They don't wear my gloves just because they're hella nice and they're probably. I'll tell you right now, bro. You know how Marines think, and that attention to detail.
Mm-hmm.
I was a freaking detective to find the best quality, the best style. I went to Freddie Roach. I went to Manny Robles, all of the famous coaches. I said, what would you do different? They're like, oh,
Yeah.
this looks like shit. You got to fix this.
Hmm.
Okay. And I did that, bro. And I came out with the nicest gloves on the planet. No lie.
Yeah.
So,
Awesome.
yes.
So, for tell everyone where to look for you, like Instagram, Facebook, your website.
Absolutely. So, hey everyone, Putasos Inc. is our Instagram, Facebook, and for our website, it's www.putasosfightapparel.com. And I'm sure we'll put that up somewhere. Uh, you guys, we are doing a pre order on our Marine Corps gloves. And if you see the new style, they're not these ones, they're freaking better.
Got the scarlet and gold or what?
Oh man, just wait till you see it. And by the way, Putasos is one of the sponsors of the U.S. Marine Corps boxing team.
Nice.
Um, and let me tell you guys, no matter what happens, like we are gonna feel our very worst, and we are gonna feel like we're we're gonna die because we're so emotionally taxed and drained. Know that every single one of us that's listening, that's watching, find your reason, find your why, because at the end of the day, bro, you have so much potential. And my bros, I don't know what you call a female bro, but I'm gonna call you female bro too. Like, no matter what you've been through, that doesn't define you. You are so much more. If you had any questions, just reach out and I will do my very best. And you just got to keep fighting, keep throwing them putazos.
Yeah. So to close this out, I'd have to say to our brothers and sisters, join your VFW, join your Legion, join the IAVA, hit up a vet together. We're doing one here in Michigan soon, the end of April. Go to the vet center, go talk to guys
Mhm.
like Ralph, and just get set up for success and use all those skills you've been given and earned to do good for your family and yourself.
Yep.
So, all right,
All
man.
right.
It was a
Good.
great time, and we'll talk
Yes.
soon.
All right. Good talking to you.
Incoming, incoming, incoming.